Great. And we're live. So welcome everybody to this remote interview. My name is Lisette and I'm interviewing people and companies doing great things remotely. And I'm super excited today because we have Michael Sliwinski on the line. And Michael, you are the founder of Nozbe, which is an online project management tool. We could say, we'll get into it exactly. You're a productivity expert. So caught my eye completely. The author of iPad Only and the upcoming book, No Office, and a chief editor of Productive Magazine.
Yep.
And a triathlete. Clearly you're already a superhuman. So excited. So welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about productivity, and especially I like talking about working remotely because this is something which is true to me, true to my, it's in my blood.
Awesome. So let's get started. I'm really excited for the first question because I know you're going to have an interesting answer, which is no pressure, of course. What does your virtual office look like? What do you need to get your work done?
Yeah, so actually on my blog, I have a series of blog posts. Like every year almost, I change a little bit my virtual office. I improve it, I modify it. There's a whole series. Like you can go back in time to when I started the setting it up, when I was in a small apartment, sharing it with my wife and my kid, and then we moved to a bigger place and then bigger house. So it changes almost every year. But even now, I've been living in this house for 3 years now. I already changed the furniture and the setup of this virtual office like 3 or 4 times now. So I really believe in incremental improving, and every year of doing like a review of my home office and then seeing what works, what doesn't, and so now at this point, I have a dedicated room in our house. It's on the top floor, which is good because it's on the top floor. So actually, if you want to interrupt me, you have to climb up. So people in the family will, have to just, get out and climb up to interrupt me. Before that, when I was living in a different house, I was on the middle floor. And then people go to your place more often. So I encourage, top floors. Then, of course, if you want to get a coffee, you'll have to go down and go up again. So you think twice. So that's why I don't drink that many coffees anymore, which is good for my health.
That can be a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a stand-up desk. It's from IKEA. Before I recommended it a lot, but now it broke down. They fixed it, fortunately. But it's then I read on the internet that this kind of desk tends to break. But anyway, I like it because it's a stand-up desk that you can lower down as a sit up. So actually, what I try to do is I try to alternate between sitting and standing when I work. Right now, when we're talking, I'm standing, and when I'm writing, I try to stand because I just feel more in motion, more in action mode. When I stand. Yeah. But I also like to when I read or something, I have a small couch just behind me. So I use this, for example, to sit down with my iPad and then read there. So this way, I just alternate. I like it like this. And I have a small basketball because I'm a big fan of basketball. I have a small basketball, like a really small one, which I just tend to shoot like every 2-3 hours, just to again be in motion, just do something, stand up again, and just move some energy here.
I can imagine it's good for thinking. If you want to think about something, you shoot it through a few hoops and yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Of course, the problem is that when I shoot, then the ball bumps, and then it sometimes just hits some things in my home office. But that's life. So I have to watch out what I that I don't destroy everything while shooting hoops. But I keep doing it anyway. And my main computer is my iMac, which is on this stand-up desk, which I use very often as like my canvas because it's a big iMac with a big screen. But I prefer actually to work on the iPad, and that's why I wrote the book iPad Only. Because the idea of iPad Only is not to work on the iPad 100%, but be able to work on 100%, but work mostly on the iPad. And this is what I do. I have iOS set up like this that I can actually work also on my iPhone, and I have iPhone 6s Plus, so with a bigger iPhone. So basically, I can get everything done on my iPhone as well. So when I leave home with my iPhone, I can, I have access to all the files, all the tasks, projects. Nozbe works on the iPhone, then Dropbox, Evernote. So I have everything actually on my iPhone as well. That's why I'm set up like this, that I can. This is actually, I think, a good thing for a remote person like me, remote worker like me, that even with an iPhone, I can still be productive on the go. But the iPad is my computer of choice, and right now I'm working on the iPad on Pro, the 12-inch iPad Pro, so the big beast. I like it. I like it because it's it's big. Again, you have big canvas. You can just split the screen. But it's not as handy as the smaller iPad. I'm right now testing the small iPad Pro and checking which one I will keep for most of my work. So I'm a gadget guy. Running Nozbe, we have our product is for all the mobile platforms and desktop platforms. So we support all these devices. Android, iPhone, iPad, and Mac, Windows. Gives me a perfect excuse. An Apple Watch gives me a perfect excuse actually to buy gadgets. So I always to my wife, honey, I need to buy this latest iPhone
for
because
work.
My work, what can I do? I'm the poor guy that has to do it, right? So this helps me really to actually motivate me even more, to get things done, because I have always this new shiny gadget to work on. Like just the other day, the iOS 10, so the preview of future of iOS showed up, and I need to buy a new iPad to test it, So
yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's a tough world. But I like, because you do highlight some important things, which I think is have good equipment if you're going to work remotely, like really have the right equipment anyway. But before we get it, because we're going to get into this, and I also want to talk about Nozbe and what Nozbe does. But when you're talking about these gadgets and you have everything on the phone or on the iPad and you can do this all on the go, let's talk about a problem that I hear a lot from remote workers, which is being always on.
Yeah. So about that, I'm very I curate my notifications. So I make sure that I don't get push notifications from things that don't need my attention. So for example, I love Twitter. I'm an addict to Twitter. Really, I need a cure now. I need to go this.
I'm guilty as well.
So I love Twitter, but I receive none of the push notifications. If I go to Twitter, I have to just explicitly launch the application to go to Twitter. There are no push notifications, and if somebody mentions me or whatever, no, nothing. No notifications from Facebook or other, Instagram or other social media. No notifications from email. So I don't get notifications from all these, distractions things. The only notifications I get are from Slack, if somebody mentions me somewhere, or of course from Nozbe, if somebody delegates a task to me or mentions me in a task. And Nozbe is our project management tool, and we actually manage our whole company inside Nozbe. So this is really important that I get these push notifications, because something really important can be there. But then again, if it's not important and I'm and I'm with my family, I just ignore it and that's it. But really, thanks to this, I don't feel like I'm always on. I can be, but on the other hand, I don't feel like I'm always on, because I'm really, curating these push notifications. So I'm not being, called all the time, right?
Right.
So
I really like that I curate my notifications. I really like that.
Yeah, for example, I have the Apple Watch, of course,
Gadget.
Yeah, we have an app for the Apple Watch, actually. So that's, again,
awesome.
I'm the CEO, so I have to have it. So, and I love the Apple Watch also for this thing that when I'm with my family, so it's a good ad for Apple Watch now. So when I'm with my family, I leave my phone in my home office, and I'm just with my Apple Watch. So if I get a push notification, I get it on the watch. So if it's something really important, I get a notification, but actually I cannot do a lot on the Apple Watch. I would really stretch it if I would write an Apple Watch only book, so I cannot do a lot, but unless there is some emergency, I know about it, because I will get a push notification, because the Apple Watch actually uses not only Bluetooth but also Wi-Fi to connect with my phone. So the good thing is that thanks to that, I'm not tempted to just have the phone with me and open the phone when I'm with my family. I spend time with my family. I get notification if I really if there is something really important. And again, only for the Apple Watch, you can actually even curate the notifications even more. So you can really make sure that only the important stuff goes in. So this way, actually, I think there is a way to have a balance, although you can be productive anywhere.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I believe the same thing. I always tell people, put your own boundaries in place, whatever those might be, and then stick to them. That's the discipline that's needed. But I mean, for anything, we have to have some sort of discipline. So,
and especially if we are remote workers, we need discipline. I mean, this is something we need, ourselves. I mean, to curate. I mean, this is why some people just are not capable of remote work, because they just, they don't want to have this discipline. They prefer to have to be forced to go to an office and then, being told what to do. I don't like that, but some people do.
Right. I always say to people, it's not a judgment on one or the other, just know which one you are and then plan for that. So it's good to just know. Let's talk about Nozbe. I'm very curious about this. I was telling you, I used to work on an online project management tool. When I saw this, it just really reminded me of that tool. And so I want to get into it. What does Nozbe do? And how do you guys work?
Yeah, so in the beginning, Nozbe was just a digital version of Getting Things Done system by David Allen. I just read the book by David Allen, Getting Things Done, Art of Stress-Free Productivity. I loved it, but being a geek, I wanted to have like a digital thing. I didn't want to write on a piece of paper, and I didn't like the non-digital ways to implement it. So I searched for an online tool. I couldn't find one. I built one over the weekend for myself, and I started using it. And then after a while, I decided, if I like it and it works for me, maybe I should not be selfish and just, maybe, tweak it a little bit and publish it to people. And maybe there will be some other Michaels, out there that will find it useful. This is actually what happened. In 2007, I launched it as just a web application, for the desktop and for the desktop browser. And it resonated with people. I mean, in the first week, I got 10 users, but then, some press got interested, and then suddenly I got, thousands of users. So it was very, very, very good. And then it was the year of the iPhone. So I actually built also the web version for the iPhone because in the first iPhone, you couldn't build apps, but only web apps. And then it's good from there. But over the years, it's changed from just a personal tool to manage your tasks, manage your projects, manage your priorities, to a tool that you can actually communicate through tasks. So communicate with others, share projects, delegate tasks, and in tasks also have comments in the tasks. This way you can actually, when you delegate a task, there is a comment, you know exactly what you have to do. If you don't, you ask question, you get feedback, and in this way. In this way, I really, I was really, it changed from a just personal tool, which is still great. I mean, Nozbe still works great for just one person to just manage their priorities. But then it's now, I think, more of a, communicate through tasks kind of thing, because, our company is like, we have everything in Nozbe. We have all our projects, we share them in Nozbe. Like most of our communication, action-based, is in Nozbe. We also use Slack, but we use Slack only to just chat, to just, blah, 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 hey, I had a dinner or whatever. I had a lunch. But we use Nozbe for communication, because it's more efficient. You create a we even have this saying in our company, because we don't use email. We use email with the external world. We emailed to get this done, but right. with inside the team, I think it's healthier to not use email, but use a tool like Nozbe to communicate through tasks, because this way you just separate them, because then the important information doesn't go through email with everything else, and you have a better overview of the projects. So this is what we do. We use Nozbe, and we have the saying, create a task for me. So if you want something from me, create a task for me. Don't send me an email, don't send me a message, create a task for me, and then, I'll do it. So that's
love it. What I love about the email-based chat or the task-based chat also, I think it's a really smart way of working, is because you also have that history in the chat.
Exactly.
So if anybody new comes onto the project, they can look through the chat history, see all the conversations that have happened, and so that institutional knowledge, that's brilliant. Plus, it helps you keep track of like all the emails that go back and forth, all the emails around tasks when you're working with the team. It's really a problem. This whole inbox zero movement, you see it everywhere. People are just completely overwhelmed by email.
Yes, yes, and that's why it's really healthier to separate that. And again, as you said, you have the whole history when you have a chat inside a task, and then you know where people are coming from. And also in Nozbe, for example, we support attachments, to comments. So, for example, you can use Dropbox, Evernote, or just drag and drop a file to Nozbe. And people use it, for example, as version control. Like, I have a task for you with a Word document, right? And then I attach it to the task, and I delegate it to you. You download it, check it out, improve it, modify it, you upload it back, and delegate tasks to me back. So we have the whole version control because we have the old version, the newer version, and we know exactly when it was done, who did that. So really, we have a better transparency,
Right.
with in projects and in tasks. And I think it's really important, especially in a remote environment, because in my company, we are, we haven't mentioned it, I think, in the show yet, that in my company, we are 20 plus people, and we all work from home. Like we are all really, we don't have an office, no central office, nothing. I mean, there is an address. It's official. There's an official address, but nobody works there. So, if you go there, sorry, nobody will open. It's not like we're not polite, but we use the online thing. Our address actually, nozbe.com, is our headquarters.
Right.
That's all there is there. But and for many people, this is actually strange. Whenever I talk about my company, they're like, "So where are you based?" So we are, actually we are from Poland, but we work all from homes, and then we have people from different countries and everything. Okay, and we don't have an office; we all work from home. Okay. So where are you based?
Right.
It's really hard for people to understand, but
right.
But we are like that, and it was my lifestyle. It's our lifestyle choice, and we love this choice.
What do you personally love so much about working remotely?
There is this. Have you seen the movie Braveheart?
Yes.
Yes. Freedom. Right? So there you have it. Mel Gibson, Freedom. So this is what I love about it. Because I started as a remote consultant. So I was a web consultant. I was helping others sell their stuff on the internet. And I was, one-man shop, and I was just having my laptop, and we moved from city to city because my wife was changing jobs, and I would just follow her with my laptop, and I loved it because nobody really cared where I was, as long as I had internet connection. So that was the only thing that was required. And now with, 2016, we have internet connection everywhere. So it's really, and so for me, it was always, I love that freedom. I know I can work from anywhere. I can do anything and through the internet, thanks to the internet. If we didn't have internet, I don't know what I would do. Really, I have no clue. So, so it's really important for me. And I love this freedom. And now, for example, we have this thing that we hire people, we hire talent from anywhere. And this is for me cool. And on their side, like for example, we like last year we hired a designer who works from a really small city in southern Poland, and he got job offers because he's a very good designer. He got job offers from Warsaw, but they all said you have to move to Warsaw, to the capital, to actually work for us. But he didn't want to work. He didn't want to move. So, and then he got a job offer from us, and also a very good job offer, like on the, a very good one, but then he didn't have to move. He could just stay where he was. So for him, it was like, yeah, this is the perfect match for me, right? So this way we can really build a team. Whenever we hire people, we can hire people from anywhere, and they don't have to, change their lifestyle just because we hired them. And I think it's also great. So there's a freedom for us and freedom for them. So I think this is like the most important thing, and the work-life balance. On one hand, I think I work more because it's, closer to home, right? But on the other hand, I can be at home, in the hours where, where there is nobody usually at home, right? Or I can, like in the middle of the day, you mentioned I'm a triathlete. I'm an amateur triathlete. I'm just doing this because I want to be in shape. And I don't, I'm not medalist or anything like that. But what I like about it is that, very often, like at 2 p.m., I just see my energy going down. I cannot work anymore. So I just go out for a bike ride or for a run, and I just feel better. I just come back, shower, and work again. And then I feel like the endorphins kick in, I'm happier and I'm, more productive. So again, try doing this in a normal office, just go out for a run. Then you come sweaty,
right. It's 2 hours later sometimes. If you're going out for a long run, or if you feel like going longer or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then people are judging you because you're not in the office. You should be here because we're paying you, whatever. And in my company, we don't have to. I mean, we just we trust. Yeah, that's the last thing I want to mention. Trust is the basis of our company. Instead of control, I mean, there's this German saying, "Control, trust is good, but control is better." I think it's the other way around. Trust is good, control is good, but trust is better. So, like, we are forced to trust each other because I don't have webcams installed in the home offices of my peers, of my colleagues. We all trust each other to deliver work, and I think this also makes the dynamic of the company better.
So how do you then know what each other are doing? I'm assuming Nozbe, clearly, because it's a task management system. So,
yeah.
But I mean, you've got 20 people now, and
yeah.
I assume they're all superstars, but not every company has superstars. And how do you know if somebody's slacking, or how do you give the feedback? How does that work with you guys?
So, we have several systems that we use, and like, for example, the developers, the programmers, for example, every day at 10 a.m. they have a stand-up meeting, which is not really a stand-up meeting because they just connect via Slack audio, to just say what they've been working on yesterday, and then say what they will be working on today, and what problems they've been experiencing. And in this meeting, we have 10 developers and designers in the team, and this meeting lasts 20 minutes. So it's really fast. So you just say things and that's it. So and the product manager, tells you or gives you some feedback or something. So it's a very short meeting, but they do it every day. This way they know what they're working on and what they've been working on. But actually, I think in remote work, if you have tasks and you communicate through tasks, and you have things that you have to deliver, it's actually harder to slack off than in a normal office. In a normal office, you go to all the meetings, you are active, you speak up, and then people think you're productive, in a normal office. But if you're working remotely, you have to deliver things. If you don't deliver the goods, like once or twice, we can understand. But then if you keep on not delivering things, not delivering the things you promised, we see that. It's just obvious. And then we are like, what are you doing? What happens? So I think in remote work, actually, because it's based on delivery of results, it's really results driven. It's harder to disappear because, and especially in a team that relies on each other, when we depend on each other because we have to deliver things because we're doing something for the user. We have to deliver our app. We have to bring new version, and then we have to market it. We have to ship it. It's all, we are on the same boat. So if somebody is slacking off, we can clearly see that.
Yeah, I love that. I think that you're right. It's the clear thing. It's, as remote workers, it's great. We have all this freedom, and then we also have the great responsibility of delivering value.
Yes, and and when you finish the day and then you see from the task that you haven't done so much, you feel bad, really. And then you it's really I think it's really more motivating to work remotely this way, because really you have to you want to show the team that you're delivering.
Yeah. So I'm dying to ask you I'm dying to ask you about productivity, because you are the productivity expert with Productivity Magazine and a productivity podcast. I'm just like, gotta know. I mean, I'm sure. And there was a course that I read about you. It was like top 10 productivity. If people sign up on your mailing list, they get a
10 steps to ultimate productivity. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So you'll be seeing my name shortly after we finish this interview. But if you could give top productivity tips, what do remote workers, what are the best things that they need to know about productivity?
So,
I know that's a big question. Sorry in advance.
I can, I mean, how much time you have?
It's true.
Yeah. So the thing is that, I mean, first thing, appreciate the time you have. So really make sure that you get distractions out of the way. That's why I was so highlighting, the curating of notifications. So to make sure that you have really time to deliver your work, you have time, for deep work. Like just after this conversation, I have to review a contract. So I want to make sure that I'm not getting distracted. I just can just review the contract, read it. And so I'm gonna just dedicate a full Pomodoro. So I have a full 30 minutes to this, and just really try not to do anything else. So I would say really make sure that you're not being distracted all the time, because the one mistake that I see we do as remote workers is that we get all these push notifications from all these places, from all these people, and then we get distracted and we just don't deliver things. But because we are remote, because people cannot literally come to our office and tell us, hi, I need that thing, you can actually shut things off. And I think this is a luxury that we have, that we can shut things off, focus on things, and come back, and people will be fine. The world will not end in 30 minutes or 1 hour when you're off and you were off working on an important thing. So I would say that. And for me, which is really, really helpful, is to have like a morning routine, and to set up the three main things, three main big rocks, big tasks the day before. So the day before, I write them down before going to sleep. I don't know. I heard somewhere that your mind is working on them as you sleep. I don't know if it's really true, but I think it is. Well, I believe it is. And then in the morning, I wake up. I have a morning routine. I review these three tasks, and then I try to actually work on these three tasks. And with my team, I have this kind of understanding that up until 12, up until noon, I'm not really going to talk to them as much. So if they want to chat with me, or they have some questions, they better leave it for later, because only at 12 I connect with the team. I review our team communication and all these things, because I want to have time, like the early morning, for these big things, for these big tasks. Because if I don't do them, then I'm just gonna have a worse day. So I would say these three big rocks, and then try to really have this time for these things, and then allocate it. So I think it's I mean, there's really lots of things, but the Pomodoro technique that I mentioned is also very good. Half an hour, you just put the timer there and just work on something. There are the apps for that on the iPhone and for the Mac. So I encourage you to do that. And there is a very cool technique I mentioned in my blog. It's called unschedule. It's like you schedule the cool stuff. So, for example, you schedule when you're going to run, or where you have a meeting, or where I have a podcast interview. And you schedule these things, and then you see how many holes you have inside your day. So you can then run, do your work inside these holes. So, and then you are looking forward to the next step. So, for example, in 2 hours I'm going to run. So I have these 2 hours now. Work on my stuff, and then in 2 hours I'm going to go out and have a run. So I'm looking forward to the run, but I know that I have to get certain things done to actually allow myself to go running. So there are lots of things that you can do, but I think really minding your focus, minding your time, trying to work with as few distractions as possible is really key, and we can do that because we can shut things off.
Yeah, I love it. What is your morning routine? I ask, right. I love people on the Tim Ferriss podcast. He asks everybody their morning routine. And I'm always fascinated. Like, some people check their email right away. Some people say, no, I never check my email.
Yeah. So one of the parts of my morning routine is that I check Twitter, which I really shouldn't be doing. But because my customers are mainly from the US and I live in Europe, so like in the morning I get all the news from the US, because there was day there when I was sleeping. So I really like that. But in the morning, the first thing I do when I wake up, I have my iPhone charging at the other end of the day of the room. So I have to actually to turn it off. I have to stand up, go get my iPhone, turn off the alarm clock, and then I go to the bathroom, brush some teeth, and do the things there in the bathroom, and then I sit down, and on my iPhone I write my journal in the morning. So I write a small journal, what happened. I have actually from Tim Ferriss, I have a very cool template, with questions. So I have a few questions that I'm answering, what was, what I'm thankful for yesterday. What was the small thing that I'm thankful for? Like these kind of questions.
I bought this journal for my sister.
Based on that, I just created a small template, and I just fill it out on the iPhone, and I put it there. And then I review my big rocks, my big tasks for the day. And then I pray, because I'm a Christian Catholic. So I pray. So it's like my meditation. I pray then. And then after that, actually, I go down to drink some water with lemon. And then I brew some coffee for me and for my wife. And then after that, I'm off for the race. I can do anything. I mean, I either bring kids to school first and then start working, or right now it's vacation time. They're not in school anymore. So I will probably do some sports first, or just right on to work, depending on the day.
Okay. Super interesting. We have very similar routines in a lot of ways. It's super interesting. So I want to talk a little bit. So it sounds like everything's really great at Nozbe, but what are the challenges? What do you guys struggle with in this way of working?
Yeah. So several things. I mean, first of all, there's the problem, of course, of direct contact. So like you really want to be with people, and especially we really like each other a lot in our team. We have a really fantastic team. They're all superstars from my point of view, and we hire slow and fire fast. So our process of hiring is really slow because we want to make sure that we get the best people, and then when we hire them, they have still 3 months, to prove themselves and to prove that they're part of the team. So we really hire really good people. So the thing is that we really want to meet. So what we do is first we meet twice a year for like a Nozbe reunion. So what we do is we actually rent a hotel somewhere for a week, and we go there and we spend quality time there. So we work, we show presentations, these kind of things. We interact, we go out, we have really good food, good drinks. Just have fun together and bond together as a team. We do it twice a year. Because we really need that, contact. The thing when you are a remote worker is that you have to actually switch your mindset, because normally what happens is that when you go to an office, you interact with people there, and then when you come back home, you actually don't want to interact with anyone because you're tired. You just you have your family there, and then nothing else. You want to just relax now. When you're a remote worker, actually, I crave in the afternoons for some time with people. We actually plan afternoons, to go out with somebody, to maybe have this play date, with my kids and with some other family, to just spend time together to watch a game, or I don't know, go out and have some dinner. So it's a whole new mindset, because during the whole day, I'm not really, I'm talking to people like you. I'm talking to my team sometimes, because we sometimes have meetings and also video meetings, because we use Zoom actually as well for the meetings. Oh. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Great tool, huh?
Great tool, yeah. So we use that for our meetings. But so I don't feel like I'm really not connected, but really I feel, because I'm an extrovert, so I really need that connection, in the afternoons. And I like it, because the thing is that people I meet in the afternoons are not people related to my job. They're not my coworkers. They're people from totally different backgrounds, totally different, jobs. And the only thing that's connecting me is that we like similar things, or we have, children in the same school or whatever. So I meet with different people, and I think I really appreciate this variety, this thing that I meet with, with other people. But I feel in my team that, we need more contact. That's why we have these reunions. And sometimes people meet also personally, even travel to each other's, cities just to see each other, for a second, So I think this is the biggest drawback of working remotely, I think.
Yeah, is the actual physical human connection. It's really not replaceable. As good as the video is, I'm curious about the holograms and the virtual reality coming. I'm very curious how that's going to change things. But for now, people seem to really, really crave the human connection, I can imagine. And twice a year, I can imagine, is just enough. Twice a year for a week at a time is just enough for people to really connect, and then you can go off again and kind of keep.
Yeah, I think so. We tried once a year first, and once a year was not enough. And twice a year is great. Some people want to have like even more frequent, but then it's really hard. It's really a logistics problem, because we have people working from like many cities and even countries. So, really get them together. It's a logistical, issue. But twice a year, it's already great. It already helps us recharge the batteries and see each other again. And we love that. This is the difference also in office and non-office. If you work in an office, you might not want to have a retreat with your people because you see them every freaking day, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's like the last thing you want to do is go and spend the weekend with them after you spend
exactly. And this way, and we are really looking forward. We are right now planning our October retreat, so our October reunion, and so we have already dates scheduled. We are looking into hotels now. So this is really exciting. Planning this, and our families are okay with that, with us leaving the families for a week, because apart from these 2 weeks, we're home every day. So they're really
they're like, get out.
Exactly. And go out, just, I'm tired of you. I'm sick of you. You're here every day, So they're really okay with us leaving. And we found out also by testing that we do reunions without our spouses and without our partners, because then we can really spend quality time together as a team. We don't have to mind other people who are not a part of the team. We just focus on ourselves, on the team, and it's a really good team bonding experience. So this is what we do.
Okay. So we're running out of time, but I want to ask another question, which I think is useful for people, which is, if people want to start out, like if you want to start your team out on a tool like Nozbe, what advice would you have for people that want to try your tool out and switch to sort of having everything in one system?
Yeah. So I get this a lot. And yesterday I actually had a webinar on that. And one of the things was try, because it's really hard for people to switch from email. They just used to email, and email is is so common, and then start having things in a tool. I always say, try with one project. Like say, okay, this one project we'll manage in Nozbe. So we'll set up an account, we'll share a project there, and we'll just put tasks there and then comments in the tasks and only there. If you send me an email about it, I'm going to forward this email to Nozbe, which can be done very easily. And this converts this email to a task. So just ban email, like literally ban email for this one project. And you will see the difference between managing everything else via email and then managing this one project in Nozbe. And then after that, I'm sure you want to switch more projects to Nozbe, and in the end, you will do what I did in my company, just ban email entirely inside the company and just use email for the outside world.
You banned email entirely within the company.
Use Nozbe. We don't use email. We don't use email inside Nozbe. No. If you email me, my assistant will convert it into a task anyway. So just faster would be just create task for me. Right. So because you have access to me, because when we work together, you have access to me, you have access to projects that we share. So you can easily create a task for me if you want something from me. It's really that easy. So why would you email me then?
Love it. I just super efficient. I totally love it. And I want to introduce you to Yegor Bugayenko, who runs a company called Teamed.io, where they don't talk over the phone or anything. They do everything through a ticketing system. Everything.
Wow.
You've never even met them. So it's very extreme, but
whoa, this is really extreme.
You guys should know each other, I think.
All right. Yeah.
You would at least appreciate each other's style of working. So I'll do that.
Yeah.
So last question, which is tragic. I could go on for really a long time, but okay, we have to, all things must end. All good things must end. What is the best way for people to get in touch with you and to find out more? I know you said Twitter. So what's your Twitter handle?
It's complicated because it's my last name. So it's msliwinski.com. I mean, msliwinski. msliwinski is my Twitter handle. But you just go to sliwinski.com, which is my surname, my last name. Sliwinski.com is my blog. Also on the Nozbe blog, so nozbe.com, you can find on Nozbe blog my posts and link to my blog. And on my blog, you can have links to my Twitter, my Instagram, all the goodies. So you can, connect with me there. There is a big about page about me with all the links, with all the information about me. So you can get everything there. And and then from there you can see my books. So if my book about passion, which I self-published, or my iPad-only book, which I also self-published. So everything you want to know is sliwinski.com, and you can write me an email. I'm still using email for the external, for other people than my teammates. So it's fine
until the world converts to Nozbe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We'll have to some email. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, at least that. But we're working on that. That everybody converts to Nozbe, and then then I'm sure we'll be the more organized place.
Yeah, for sure. More transparent, also, which would be very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually sometimes an issue with the teams. When they share a project, they're like, but then everybody on this project can see everything. But that's good.
People right? Like go for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. It's a better way of working. People filter themselves, and that's much better. That's much better than having the information filtered for you.
Exactly.
I would think for any company that would be a good thing, but we're not there. We're not all as evolved and sophisticated as this yet. Yeah, but
that's why I want to write. I'm writing. I'm in the process of writing my No Office book. So it's coming in 2017, the No Office book. And when it's published, I hope that we can meet again and talk about it again. But really, No Office is something that I'm really looking forward to, just to convert this way of thinking to people that, it's a modern way of work, that you don't, rely on, meetings and being all the time in the office, because even if you work in an office, you're not always in the office. You are on business trips. You are on, you should change the way you work. And thanks to the internet, we can do that.
Amen. Totally love it. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today. I really wish you all the best success. We'll definitely talk when the book is published. I would love to. I'll be pre-ordering as soon as I can. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Until next time, be powerful.